Good morning, Steve Thompson at Thompson Family Motors. We're out here at Seacrest Park at Seneca Lake. Beautiful view. A little bit chilly this morning. Now it's just flat out cold. But Randy and I are out here and they just did pictures of our Mark V, and I finally rolled in with the LTD II 1977 Ford Ltd II. I actually purchased this thing down in West Virginia from the original family. They kept it garage kept. It's got 18,000, just a little over 18,000 original miles. I want to get this out of the way as quick as I can. White wall tires are becoming a real problem to find. We do have white wall and the correct size tires for this car coming, but the weather's changing on us and we've got to get these babies in the garage. We do not allow our cars to set out. This car's in excellent condition. There is no rust. As you will see in Amy's photographs on our website, thompsonfamilymotors.com, this little chrome piece here on the driver's rear, or passenger rear, it's got a scuff. We are actually trying to locate one of these this time. This car has a 400 engine, thank God. They put 302s in these things, 351s, but the 400 was by far the best motor as far as pulling the car. I actually got better fuel mileage than the smaller motor trying to lug the big old girl. Anyway, there's no body damage. It's got the original hubcaps. Like I said, envision it with the correct tires and white walls, because those tires are actually two sizes too small. A lot of people I've noticed on a lot of the older cars I get, they'll just get what they can get that day. All the moldings, the chrome on the bumper, if you look real close, and I do believe in full disclosure, I mean real close, there's just very little pitting, which is very, very common, even one that's been kept very nice. Go to the interior here. It is the Brougham. Door panels, interior is just absolutely like new. Take that buzzer out. 18,177 miles. And as always, we did shut off the heater and the radio. Apparently I was jamming down a little bit, but the fuel gauge does work. And as usual, the clock does not. You find one of these that's the clock works in it, it's a miracle by God himself, or somebody's had it repaired. Because normally they only worked for the first couple years. Because yes, these cars are of my era and what I'm used to. And there's Amy and Randy doing her pictures and stuff. Talk about Amy all the time. I don't think anybody ever sees her. Turn around here for a minute. There's Amy. And with all these cars we go through, fortunately, since this has crank-up windows, normally I have to pull the door panels if they have power windows. I always replace the dowels because those plastic dowels deteriorate, and I don't want anybody to have any trouble. This car does have the full across the hump rubber floor mats from the factory. No rips or tears in the headliner. Everything works as it should. At this point, we're going to go ahead and do let me get a picture of the door jamb there, the Federal ID sticker. I'll go ahead and start up the engine here quick. And on this 400 engine, they did replace the AC compressor, and even though it's only got 18,000 miles, they will go bad, and the air is ice cold. They did convert it over to actually they bought a 134 compressor. and it is the 400 engine. Still has the original plug wires on it. There's no leaks. It's had belts and hoses replaced on it. So yes, I would drive this thing to Nevada. Not worry a thing about it. We did go ahead and put a new master cylinder, check the brakes, make sure everything, all the safety stuff is good. Now we're going to go for a ride. You ready, Randy?
Yep, ready to go.
Seat belts. You know, Randy, before you take off, since I get this seat belt on here, it is a brisk morning. Oh, yeah. What's it, about 28 degrees?
28.
Now, wait a minute. Before you take off, and I know you've noticed this, if you look up here on your sun visor, it tells you how to start the car. Now, back in the day, when you bought these cars new, the first thing you did is rip that off, because everybody knew that you had to turn the key on, mash the gas once, and start it.
Set the choke.
Always thought that was stupid, that why they'd have to tell anybody how to start a freaking car. But guess what? It hit me this morning. How many people that are under the age of 40 right now would actually know how to start this car besides me and you?
No, not very many. Not very many.
Yeah, I've been actually driving this car all over town this morning. Runs perfect. What'd you say you had to do? Because it's got two size undersized tires on it. They're two sizes too small is what that old fella put on it. We're getting the correct size because you had to run, what, about 80 on the speedometer?
80 at least.
About 80 mile an hour.
You still had people passing you.
So yeah, all that's getting corrected. And I don't know if you can hear it in the video, there's a donut gasket on the passenger manifold. We've got a real good exhaust shop that's going to take care of that. And but it was imperative we go ahead and do this today. Because it might be snowing tomorrow, and we will not take any of these cars out in Ohio. I don't know about other states, but they put this stuff called brine on the road. It's great for ice control, but that stuff will literally eat a car away. Our cars, we make sure that they haven't been in any brine. We want whoever purchases these cars, and let's face it, they're not cheap. These cars are like land. They don't make them anymore. There's people like myself and Randy that just absolutely love them. And you're going to pay for one if you want one bad enough.
There's not a whole lot of them left out there.
No. And Randy, I think you were the first one to drive this even after all those years of sitting on these tires. And these tires, I think we looked at the DOT, and these were about 8 or 9 years old.
Yep.
And it still actually drove pretty good, even with those old tires on it.
These old, it's going to be a lot different when we get the new tires on it.
Yeah. And I just drove it probably 35, 40 miles this morning running around because we're involved with our local town, with our village, getting some donations. I was hitting about everybody that I could find for our Christmas party and raffle, which goes to our Betterment committee, and they buy stuff and gifts for the kids and things like this, and for playground equipment, things like that. Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that's great. But as always, if you want more photographs, and like I say, Amy takes excellent photographs, just go to our website, ThompsonFamilyMotors.com. Phone number is 740-685-0322. And we'll be happy to take any extra photographs. And one thing I didn't do, which I'll try to do, is get this thing on the rack. I can assure you there is no rust underneath. It was undercoated. Everything's really super nice and clean. There's no rust under it. And we'll go from there. Thanks a million, Steve Thompson and Randy Mercer. Thompson Family Motors, Senecaville, Ohio.